you were out of town, babe. Come, meet my friends.
Out of town? I was at the award ceremony, and you weren't there.
That was today. And why did I need to be there, Giselle? Did you need me to carry around that tiny award for you?
Do you even care about me? Or am I just a money-earning machine for you? You don't even have a job, and all you do is spend my hard-earned money.
Your hard-earned money? Anything you are today is because of my dad and my connections. And look at you now, acting all high and mighty with your award and your expensive dress, which, by the way, looks awful on you.
Everyone in the room looked at us. I was embarrassed like never before. Suddenly, the scene of Dad laughing at Mom and insulting her flashed before my eyes, and it was the worst feeling in the world. Really? You made me? Then why couldn't you make something of yourself, you useless potato? Saying that, I just pushed him aside and stormed off to my room. I could hardly sleep that night. I was so angry at Sam and at Dad. The next morning, I woke up to a message on my phone. It was from my bank, saying that all the money from my account had been withdrawn. What the heck? Sam, you took all my money? Why did you even need such a big amount?
I had some debts to pay off. Partying can be expensive, man. You'd know if you ever had fun.
What? You're the biggest jerk ever! I wish I'd let Ashley have you. You deserved her.
Yeah, she was prettier, but whatever. Get lost now.
I grabbed him by the collar and punched him hard. Just then, the cops arrived at our door because I'd already called them and reported him for theft. He left shouting and screaming, and it was the best I'd felt in years. And then, I left to see my mom. When I arrived at my old house, Mom was completely stunned to see me. Oh my God, Giselle, it's been so long. You're even more beautiful than I remember. And suddenly, I just burst into tears and ran to hug her tight. She asked me what was wrong, and I told her everything. I'm so sorry, Mom, for never realizing how Dad made you feel, for not listening to you about Sam. You warned me, but I grew up never trusting you to be happy for me. It's not really your fault, Giselle. All those years I was angry at your dad, and I took it out on you by never showing you affection. It's taken me years to get over my resentment and realize I should never have ruined my relationship with you over someone who never loved me at all. I'm here now, Mom. Do you think we can start over? I've been waiting to hear those words for so long, my darling. Hi, I'm Tulip, and I live with my mom and twin sister Jasmine. But before I continue, please like and subscribe. My dad has always worked abroad, so growing up, we would only see him once every 2 years. If cameras hadn't been invented, I would have forgotten what he looks like. Growing up, I was a really naughty kid, but Jasmine was my mom's dream child. She'd always have perfect grades and perfect manners, and Mom just adored her. But she found fault with everything I did and kept comparing me to stupid Jasmine. Like once in 5th grade, our mean old English teacher walked in and hit the desk loudly with her stick.
Quiet! Take out your notebooks and start writing a letter to your mom.
But I just put my legs on the desk and replied, Miss, why would I write a letter to my mom when I already live with her? And then I burped loudly. The whole class burst out laughing. And of course, the teacher wasn't amused. I was immediately sent to the principal and Mom was called in.
Even a gorilla has better manners. Please, teach her to act like a lady.
As we left school, Jasmine smirked at me while Mom screamed.
Tulip, is this what I've taught you? Were you born to embarrass me? Why can't you be more like Jasmine?
Oh, Mom, I respect you so much. And just look at her. She's just shameless. I feel sorry for a great woman like you.
I'm talking to you, Tulip.
And then I was grounded for a week. I didn't have good grades, but I had an amazing eye for fashion, and I could make dresses for myself out of anything. Once at Halloween, I made myself a beautiful costume, and even Mom looked impressed. But then suddenly, her expression changed.
Where have I seen this cloth before? Wait, oh my God. Tulip, did you use my favorite gown?
Yes, Mom. Sadly, Your gown had to die for my new costume. She started screaming at me, and I just ran away. I didn't really change much until high school. One Sunday, we received a letter from Dad, and Mom looked super excited. Jasmine and I started snatching it from each other because we both wanted to read it first, and it got torn to pieces. Mom scolded us a lot. She glued it back and then read it out loud.
I am not coming back. I found my true love. Please don't wait for me.
Wait, what? Jasmine and I stared at each other as Mom turned paper white. She felt dizzy and crashed straight to the floor, hitting her head. We called an ambulance and took her to the hospital immediately. She was conscious soon, but then we had the most shocking news. It turned out that her brain had suffered an injury, and now she had the mind of a 5-year-old. Mom was now practically a baby. She was acting really fussy. So the next day, we took her to a restaurant to cheer her up. When the waitress said we'd get our food in 20 minutes, Mom looked furious. She started banging her spoon on the table and shouting, "I want food now! I want now! Now, now, now!" I tried to calm her as everyone stared at us, but then suddenly, Jasmine rose from her seat and shouted at her, "Just shut up, you crazy woman! God, this is so embarrassing. I'm out of here." I was stunned. She stormed off, and as Mom's eyes filled with tears, I quickly hugged her. "Mom, our food is almost here. You just have to count to 10. Come on, count with me. 1, 2, 3. And by the time we got to 10, thankfully our food arrived. I realized then how serious Mom's condition was, and I just had to grow up and take care of her the best I could. Jasmine took no interest in Mom, but I would drop her at her neighbor's when I went to school and pick her up on my way back. I started searching for stuff about Mom's illness on the internet, and the only possible cure was a head surgery that was super expensive. I vowed that I would work really hard so I could afford it for Mom one day. I started focusing on my studies, and within weeks, my grades were the highest in class, and all my teachers were praising me. This clearly made Jasmine jealous, because soon after I found her in the cafeteria with my biggest rival, Eva. She'd always hated me because kids liked me for my jokes and pranks, while no one liked her much. She was just a mean jerk, and now Jasmine and Eva were chatting away like they were best friends. My enemy list was updated. One day at the cafeteria, I noticed that I'd forgotten to bring my wallet and wouldn't be able to buy lunch. But just then I heard Mom behind me. "Tulip, Tulip, I got you money. No more rats in your tummy." She was running towards me, waving my wallet, when suddenly she slipped and fell on the floor. I rushed to her to make sure she was okay, but I heard people around me laughing, and the loudest was Eva. "Is that your mom? She looks like an idiot. Please hire a nanny for your stupid baby mom." Hearing that, Mom burst into tears, and I snapped. I pounced at Eva and pinned her down to the floor, twisting her arm behind her. "Say you're sorry to her. Say sorry now, or I'll really make you regret it." "Ow, okay. I'm sorry, Tulip's mom. I'm very sorry." I left her and ran to Mom, who was still crying. "Mom, you're not supposed to follow me to school, okay? You have to wait for me. Come now, let's go home." As I took her hand and let her out, I stopped by Jasmine and gave her a kick that made her howl with pain. That's for being the worst daughter on the planet and being friends with people like Eva. Shame on you. And I left with Mom. A few days later in school, I saw a poster on the bulletin board about a fashion competition where each contestant had to design one gown. The winner would get a chance to do an internship at a big designer company. I immediately signed up for it, but just then, Eva pushed me aside and signed up too. Ugh, get lost, loser. Why would someone like you know about fashion? This competition is meant for beautiful girls like me. I really enjoyed beating your butt that day, Eva, and I'll make sure you're crying at the end of the competition too. I just walked away before she could reply. I'd show her. A couple of days later, as I was leaving school, I saw Jasmine and Eva from a distance, and they seemed to be having a huge fight. I just ignored them and went home. But later that evening, there was a knock on my door, and Jasmine walked in, looking embarrassed. "What do you want?" "Listen, I know you're really mad at me. I haven't handled Mom's situation well, and I was a coward for not standing up for her. But today, Eva made fun of her again, and I just lost it. I slapped her so hard, I don't think she'll ever mess with me again. Well, I'm just glad you've finally come to your senses. She's a mean, jealous brat. She could never be a good friend to anyone. I got up and hugged her, and when Jasmine saw I was working on my sample for the competition, she offered to help. I told her I wanted to make a really unique design that would help me win the competition, and she seemed super excited by my idea. We worked really hard on it day and night, and I was happy with the result. At the competition, everybody presented their designs one by one, but when Eva's turn came before mine, I saw that her sample looked exactly like the one I'd prepared with Jasmine. The two looked at me and gave me devilish smiles. Okay, so my sister was a poisonous snake who'd pretended to fight with Eva, and then stole my design and gave it to her. I climbed onto the stage with a defeated face, and just then, I took the cloth off my mannequin, and Eva's and Jasmine's jaws dropped. It wasn't the one I'd prepared with Jasmine, because I knew exactly what she was up to. My real sample was far more beautiful, and the judges looked really impressed. And when the results were announced, I was declared the winner. I was given some prize money and the internship. Oh, you look so happy, Tulip. Like you're some big designer now. You're just a big fool. An internship isn't gonna get you anywhere. The fashion business needs money. I have a filthy rich mom, and what does your mom have? Forget money. She doesn't even have a brain. Something really stinks, Eva, and I think it's you. I smell a really sore loser. Just then I saw Mom standing in a corner, clapping really hard. I pushed Eva aside and ran to her. Mom, how did you get here? I told you not to leave home without me. I wanted to see your shop. I wanted to buy one dress from you. See, I have $1. There's no shop, sweetie, but you can have this dress for free. You'll look like a princess in it. Come, we'll go home and try it on. Later that evening, I found Jasmine taking out some cash from Mom's drawers, but the minute she saw me, she stuffed it into her pocket, and I tried to take it away. What are you doing? Give that back. Ugh, you're such a what? A witch? Do I look like a witch? I might look like a witch, but I'm not one. Let me go. And she pushed me away really hard. I'm gonna go live with Eva. She's rich and has a great business plan. Within a month, my money will be doubled and I will rule the fashion world. A crazy dumb mom and an ugly sister won't get me anywhere. So, you're taking $500 from here and after 1 month, you'll rule the fashion world? Take it and just go away. You're such a selfish moron. I pushed her aside really hard and stormed off. A few minutes later, I saw her leaving with her suitcases. Good riddance. My internship started after a week, and it was a great experience. But I realized Eva was right about one thing. Starting your own business isn't easy for people with no money. Then I got an idea. I bought a few used clothes and transformed them into beautiful pieces. I took pictures of them and went back with my portfolio to the bank for a loan. But the loan officer took one look at my folder and tossed it aside.
Sorry, ma'am. We can't just give you a loan on the basis of this trash you're showing us. If your startup idea fails, you won't be able to return our money.
But sir, just give me a chance. I'm sure I'm not gonna fail.
Yeah, that's what every loser who comes in here says. Please, don't waste our time, ma'am. Good day.
And they literally pushed me out of the bank. I was walking back home feeling completely defeated when suddenly a fancy car stopped by me and someone rolled down a window. I saw it was one of the competition judges. Well, hello. A Tulip, right? Yes, you were the winner, but honey, why do you look so upset? She asked me to get into the car and I told her everything on the way. As she flicked through my designs, she looked really impressed. Those bank people are idiots. You're clearly really talented. And then, to my shock, she offered me a job at her company for a really good salary. And of course, I instantly accepted. I worked for her for the next few years, and I even got my fashion degree by studying on the side. After graduation, I had enough experience and savings to start my own little business. And over the years, it grew more and more. One day, I had to interview a candidate for the post of a manager. She was waiting for me in my office, and when I walked in with my secretary, I was shocked to see the candidate was Eva.
Tulip, you're here for an interview?
Well, I told you starting a fashion business isn't for you, but you just wouldn't listen to me. Just then, my secretary spoke up. Miss Tulip is the owner of the company. She will be taking your interview. And Eva's eyes nearly fell out of her head. Miss Tulip, this lady informed me that her fashion company failed miserably, but it means that she does have some experience in the field. She might be a good candidate. This interview ends now. I know Miss Eva really well, and I wouldn't hire her to even pick up my garbage. I only want good people on my team, and you, Eva, just don't belong here. Now please, get lost. And Eva burst into tears and went out running. She deserved it. A few days later, Mom's surgery was scheduled, and we were flying to New York for it. Just as I was taking the luggage out, I saw someone hugging Mom. It was frickin' Jasmine. Oh my God, Mom, I missed you so much. And you too, Tulip. I went by your office and they told me you were taking time off for Mom's surgery. Is it true? She'll be fixed now? We'll have our amazing Mom back, the one who used to adore me? I pulled her away from Mom. That amazing Mom never left. You did, Jasmine. She would have loved you and adored you if you had let her, but you didn't want anything to do with her when she needed you the most. Jasmine suddenly fell down on her knees and started crying. I made a huge mistake, Tulip. Huge! I can't believe I was such a fool and turned away from my amazing family. Please forgive me, and I promise I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you both. No, Jasmine. I'm afraid you'll only spend the rest of your life regretting your bad decisions. Your crazy dumb mom and ugly sister have no space in their lives for you. And with that, I took Mom's hand and we got into the cab waiting for us and left. Hi, my name is Sophie and I'm from Ohio. In my small town, I was known as the kid with the perfect mom. She raised me alone after my dad left us, and she was so stunning that she became a famous model. Everyone admired her beauty and strength. Mom loved looking and being perfect. She always dressed us up in matching, amazing outfits, and once I joined school, she I love you most. Hi, I'm Estelle. I was born in a crazy family in New York. Please like and subscribe. My Mexican mom was so proud of her language that she never wanted to learn better English. Dad would say mean things with a smile to fool her all the time, and I hated it.
Wow, this stew tastes like mud. What did you do to it, you insane woman?
Dad?
What you telling me? Do you like? Woohoo, mi contento.
As a kid, I never had the courage to tell Mom what a jerk he was, because I knew she'd be sad. But every time he did that and smirked at me, I knew that Mom would soon catch on to his words, and it would
There. Ma'am, can you believe it? She's asking me to be her boyfriend, but I told her, I already have eyes for you. I was sure the teacher was gonna kick him out now, but to my surprise, she giggled. Oh, stop it, you.
What? Who was this boy? Soon I realized Matthew was the coolest kid in school. All the girls and even the teachers adored him for his crazy jokes. Not me. I hated him even more because he spoke in Spanish with Mom every time I was around. I felt like an alien in the house. That Christmas, Carlos was gonna host a grand party, but I wasn't interested.
Barely walk.
Ugh, I was gonna kill him. Seeing Mom and Carlos's faces, I could tell they wanted me to attend, so I reluctantly said yes. And the party wasn't that bad. I got to meet a handsome boy, Leo, and he was Carlos's business manager's son.
Hey, I know you must already have a boyfriend because you're so pretty, but I have to say, you have the most dreamy eyes. I've been watching you for hours.
OMG, that made me blush. Thanks.
Have you gone mad? Why are you sitting with that jerk?
He's not a jerk. He's my friend. Maybe future boyfriend. And why do you care anyway?
Listen, he's not a good guy. He flirts with everyone, and God knows how many girlfriends he has.
Look who's talking. The one who flirts with teachers? Just leave me alone, okay? I can handle my own life. I knew he just wanted to spoil my first real relationship. So I ignored him and left with Leo. After that, we started going out more often. One evening, Leo invited me to his house for a party, and I was having a great time. As we were dancing, Leo suddenly pulled me closer, and my heart skipped a beat.
Oh, Hermosa, thank God you flew all the way from New York just for me.
He held my face, and we kissed. Suddenly, someone kicked Leo hard, and he went flying into a wall. Matthew, what are you doing here?
Just protecting you from this virus.
He took my hand and started walking out, but I pushed him away. You crazy idiot! You're the virus that's destroying my life. Why can't you just let me breathe?
Breathe all you want, but see this first.
He took out his phone and showed me Leo's Instagram page. It had a video of me and him kissing under the caption, 100th kiss from a New York chick. The page had videos of him kissing 99 other girls too. It looked like one of Leo's friends here had been making our video and was broadcasting it live for him. I jumped on Leo and scratched his face.
Ah! The New York chick has gone crazy like her mad brother. Someone save me.
Shut your dirty mouth. I trusted you, you mud mind. And I started pulling his hair like crazy. Matthew gave him a nice punch and then took me home. I felt really embarrassed for not listening to Matthew before. He'd only been looking out for me. So the next day at school, I sat next to him.
Not so worried about this life-destroying virus now?
Yeah, I realized it's better to have him as a friend than an enemy. I thanked him for the night before, and he just laughed and hit my face with a book again. As days passed, we became good friends. I also decided to talk to Carlos and Mom and apologize for being so neglectful, but they surprised me instead.
Princesa, we have some exciting news for you.
What?
Matthew, this is what you really think of us? You suck. Matthew, enough. What are you talking about?
Oh, let me read it out loud, Papa.
This place is hell on earth. I hate their food, their language, this house. Carlos is so loud and annoying. Why is he so desperate to be my dad? Probably because his own son is a loser with half a brain. They're both stupid and I deserve better.
He's just mad. And I didn't really mean it. This is not how I feel now. It was something Mom had told me once and Matthew didn't know about it. Now he did because I just blurted it out. Carlos turned white and Mom looked raging mad.
What a lame thing to say, Estelle. As if. Tell her, Papa. Papa?
Mom turned to me.
I raised you better than this, Estelle. But it seems you're more like your dad. Hurting good people for no reason. Hurting your family. I'm so disappointed in you. Party's over, everyone.
As the guests started leaving, I ran to my room in tears. I felt terrible. Even if Matthew had read my diary, I'd done something 10 times worse. And the next day, I was back to being the alien of the house. Nobody was talking to me, and I deserved it. Matthew wouldn't even look at me in school. Anytime I went near him, he walked the other way. I tried for days. How do I make one evening, as he fell down?
Oh my God, what happened? Papa, I'm fine, really, thanks to Estelle. But why were you going around with a baseball bat anyway?
I've been following you everywhere for days, Matthew. Leo came up to me a week ago and said he would do something to make you pay for exposing him at his party. I knew you wouldn't really listen to me, so I had to do something. I couldn't let you get hurt. I've done a pretty good job of that myself. Suddenly, Carlos stepped forward and hugged me.
Mi amor, you saved my son today, and I want to forget everything else. I know you didn't mean those things. And I'm okay about knowing about the adoption, Estelle. It came as a shock, but Dad and I have talked a lot about it since, and I'm fine. It doesn't really change anything. You don't always have to be related to be family.
I understand that now, and I'm so happy Mom brought me to you guys. I'm sorry about everything. And Carlos, you're the dad every girl wants to have. I love you. Carlos had tears and hugged me. Mom did too.
Don't forget me.
Hello, my name is Lily, and I live in a hidden village high up in the mountains. My father was from a long line of wealthy traders who built these castles themselves. They built a huge wall around the town to keep us safe, and the kids were forbidden from going outside. Obviously, that meant we tried to leave all the time. We would dare each other to get past the gates, but there were 100 guards ready to stop us. The others laughed it off, but I was mad. My father went out for trades all the time. Why couldn't I? When I was 10, I sneaked into his bags before a trip, and I jumped out once the carriage left town. Woohoo! I'm outside with you, Papa! He screamed, and his guards almost jumped on me. Father made the carriage turn back, but he made a stop on the way and showed me a dark, chilly forest.
This is the outside world, Lily. It's full of horrible monsters and bad people. As the future chiefess of our town.
And I let all. They must. I'd never even heard of. That was what
Care of your education. You're the future chiefess, right? You're even more beautiful than they said. I can't wait to win your hand.
He gave me a flower and he leaned forward to kiss my cheek. Arthur pushed him away.
Who kisses a lady like that? The guy who's going to marry her.
No way was I going to marry this idiot. But my father actually agreed to his offer. He didn't even care when I said no.
He has enough castles to amuse you your whole life, Lily. You'll love it.
The day of my wedding was fixed. Arthur, we found some horses and raced back to my town. People were saying that a sickness was spreading through my town. Many were ill and some were even dying. Arthur thought this was my father's trick to get me to come back, but I couldn't just ignore this. We found some horses and raced back to my town. My worst fears came true when I got there. Our only lake was covered in algae. The water was toxic, all the fish were dead, and anyone who drank the water became severely ill. Father, I'm here.
Lily, you're all right. I thought I'd never see you again.
I saw the lake. We have to leave this town. It's not safe here anymore.
No, we built this place with our own 2 hands. We can't just leave. We have to fix this.
There was no way to fix this. I had to do something. I ran out of the castle and began to rouse the whole town to get out of their houses. All the guards were sick, and there was no one to stop me. We have to leave. You all know it. This place has kept us safe for generations, but we won't last 3 days without water. I'm going to a nearby town, and anyone who wants to live can come with me.
Lily, we can't do this.
Yes, we can. You wanted me to be the chiefess, right? Don't stop me from doing my duty. One by one, the villagers packed up their things and followed me. We all marched to Arthur's old town, and the people there were ready to help our weary and sick. Even though my father resisted, seeing his villagers healing melted his heart. He agreed to merge with this town, and we shifted our gold and our possessions over the next few months. It was the start of a new beginning for our people. Everyone was happier to be out of the walls, especially me. A few months after our town shifted, my father knelt before me with apologies.
If not for you, I would have doomed all of our people.
Yes, you would have.
I was a complete fool. We are all lucky that you came for us, Lily. Can you ever forgive me?
Hi, my name is Callista, and I'm from Seattle. Please like and subscribe. I don't remember my dad because soon after I was born, my parents got divorced. Mom got full custody of my
Sister Lisa, and I'm your dad.
My what? And my bestie friend, I went off the stage, was it up and threw it on the left. What are you doing? If a wild animal comes in at night, the left bed is closer to the door, so he'll eat you first while I run away. Huh? Why should I get eaten? You get eaten. Saying that, I picked up my luggage and put it back, and she kicked me. I kicked her right back, and we got into a fight. And just like that, our tent broke down. The teacher glared at us and made us sleep under the sky. The next day, we had to perform a few tasks as a team. The first one was rope climbing, but as I was climbing, Lisa pulled me down by my foot and I fell to the ground. She giggled and started going up, but I grabbed a handful of mud and threw it at her face. As I ran forward, someone tried to stop me. There may be alligators in that lake. Wait for the teachers. I just pushed her aside and jumped into the water, pulling Lisa out. The teachers came running and took us to the nurse, but thankfully, Lisa was completely unhurt, just really shaken. Later that night, Lisa came to the tent and just hugged me. Thank you, Callista. If it weren't for you, I don't think I'd be here. Nobody tried to help me, not even my friends. But you did. I couldn't. But just then, the door flew open and Mom barged in. No one tricked me into coming here, Mom. I came because I wanted to. And these people aren't strangers. They're my family.
What are you talking about? Your dad never cared about you, and now these people have brainwashed you. Amber, that's not fair. You have your family.
Want this too, Mom? Why can't I have both?
Well, you can't.
She threw herself even more into her work, and I'd hardly see her around. But then one day, I got a call from her office. She'd fainted and been taken to the hospital. I called Dad, and immediately he took me there. The doctors said she'd overworked herself and had a breakdown.
Just make sure she rests for the next few weeks and has nothing to worry about.
Before I went to see Mom, I turned to Dad. I need to know. Just tell me what happened between you and Mom, please. Dad looked at me and sighed.
I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, Callie, but your mom became a bit crazy. She would throw tantrums over the smallest things, and she didn't trust me at all. We were miserable and fighting all the time, and once we got divorced, she was so possessive about you. She just changed her address and numbers and wouldn't let me see you. But I'm still sorry, because I should have tried harder for you.
So finally, I knew. I felt sad to hear Mom had been that way, and how she had ended things with my dad. The next few weeks, I made sure Mom stayed put in that bed. Lisa helped me with all my schoolwork, while Dad made sure we had everything we needed. His wife even came over often to cook and clean for us, and I was so grateful that I didn't have to deal with all this alone. A couple of weeks later, I was reading by Mom's bedside when suddenly she took my hand.
Callista, I've had a lot of time to think, and I really owe you an apology, honey. I'm sorry for keeping you away from your dad. He did try to get in touch.
Mom, it's okay. I know. Dad told me everything.
I know I drove him away. And then I got even more bitter, and he'd moved on and married someone. It made me crazier, and you were all I had. I just didn't want you to get close to him. I think I need therapy, Kelly. I know your dad cares about you, and it actually feels nice to know that there was someone to take care of us while I was sick. I'll be better. I won't make you choose again. You deserve a family.
So do you. And we're all here to help. I love you, Mom. Hi, I'm Camilla from Nashville. Please like and subscribe. I've never had any privacy. Nope, not even in my mother's womb. That's because my 3 sisters shared it with me. It was big news in our town that quadruplets were born. We were even featured in the local newspaper. But the really unusual thing about us was that my sisters were all blonde and blue-eyed, while I was the odd one with red hair, brown eyes, and freckles. And growing up, they always made me feel different. Lucia was the worst. She would always block my face in our family photos. They even had their own triplets club.
It's called TOT, 2 Awesome Triplets. And no, you can't be part of it, 'cause you're ugly. Maybe I should tutor you sometimes, you MORON. Your spelling stinks. Shut up, Lucia's spelling isn't that bad. It's her math that really stinks. She always gets an F. Her breath stinks too. Yay, I said that first.
Then they both giggled and high-fived. Those 2 were Lucia's minions, and they were so stupid. I complained to Mom about how they were calling me ugly, but she had a strange way of comforting me. Honey, everyone doesn't have to be beautiful. Let them be the pretty ones and find their Prince Charmings and leave one day. Then you and I will have so much fun together. Wait, did she just say I'm ugly too? But it wasn't just them. I'd even hear stuff like this from strangers all the time. Like on our 12th birthday, we were out for dinner at a restaurant when a woman approached Mom and said, "Your triplets are just beautiful. They look like junior supermodels." Oh, and who's this? A niece? Or your maid's kid? So sweet of you to bring her along.
You want to know something sweet?
Mom just soaked up all the praise for my sisters and never told people off for making mean comments about me. Even at school, those three were the pretty popular ones, while I was just their ugly, nerdy sister. And all this made me angry. I didn't even know how much anger was building up until one day at school when I saw my test marks were all in single digits thanks to my temper. But on the bright side, I didn't have to be with my sisters anymore. On my first day at my latest school, I swore I'd behave well, but just as I was walking into class, so I pulled that in. I just don't like nerds and mean, stupid idiots. I just ignored them and went back to Peter dreams. The next day at school, I saw Peter walking down the corridor and I caught up with him and took his hand, but he just shook it off. I felt shocked, but before I could say anything, we were already inside the classroom, and he didn't even sit anywhere close to me. I caught him alone at the end of class. What was that? You brushed off my hand? You didn't sit next to me? Are we dating or what?
Of course we are, babe. I just don't like public displays of affection. I'm shy that way. But we're alone now.
And suddenly he drew me close and kissed me gently on the lips. The weekend arrived soon, and Peter took me to watch his favorite movie. As we were coming out of the theater holding hands, I spotted some kids from school. Hey, Peter, they play basketball with you, right? Let's go say hi.
Oh God, they're coming this way.
And suddenly he pushed me behind a big potted plant. What the heck? I saw him walk forward to meet the guys, and then he just left with them. I felt so stupid and so mad. I wouldn't even look at his face in school the next day. And then suddenly he pulled me into an empty classroom. What do you want with me now, Peter?
Listen, I'm sorry about last night.
I pushed him back.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say. He's a jerk, and you're perfect, just as you are. You're smart and funny and pretty. I've thought that since the first day I met you.
Suddenly, he stopped short and dropped my hand, his face all red.
Victor?
Do you like me?
I don't know. Maybe. It doesn't matter. I know you'll never see me like that. And it's for the best, because I'll be going away soon anyway.
Saying that, he walked away, and I felt stunned. How did I not see Victor's feelings for me? And he was such a great guy, and I'd been too stupid to see that too. But there wasn't much point thinking about it, because our graduation was 2 weeks later, and he left for Georgia. That evening, I was feeling so upset that I'd totally forgotten about the stupid dinner Mom was having for Lucia's boyfriend. But when I saw who it was, I nearly had a stroke. Lucia was with freaking Peter.
Mom, meet Peter. We met at the gym. Isn't he the cutest?
Oh my God. Lucia, this is the guy I was dating 2 weeks ago. He goes to my school, and he's a big fat jerk.
Camilla, what are you doing? You were just my math tutor. I didn't know you had feelings for me.
What? You're just embarrassing yourself, loser. Who would believe that someone like him would go out with you? I guess you had a crush on him and started imagining he's your boyfriend.
You know what? You're both jerks, and I'm so happy you found each other. Congratulations! I stormed off to my room and slammed the door shut. Unbelievable! I just avoided my family and got busy with college applications. And I even applied to the university in Georgia I knew Victor was going to attend. I was overjoyed when I got in on a full scholarship. I went excitedly to tell Mom, but Lucia was already there with her news. Peter had proposed to her, and they were getting married soon. I thought Mom would never agree to her getting married so young, but I was shocked. This is the best news I've ever heard. That Peter is so nice, so rich. He'll be such a nice husband. You'll live like the princess that you are, my darling. No, this is crazy. Lucia, you can't marry this guy. I'm telling you, he's not a good person.
Did somebody ask you?
I wasn't even planning on inviting you to the wedding. Just stop being so angry and jealous all the time. Yes, Camilla, be happy for your sister. It's okay if they all get married and you stay single. Your mommy is here for you. That's enough, Mom. I'm not jealous of my sisters. You've always told me a million ways that I'm not as pretty as them, and I'll never be good enough for any boy. But you know what? I like me. And there is a boy who thinks I'm pretty and perfect. He's better than all the Peters in the world, and I'm going to him now. A week later, I'd packed my bags and left for Georgia. When I went to university on the first day, I searched all over campus for Victor, and I found him at last in the cafeteria. Sitting alone here too? Pathetic. Camilla, oh my God, you didn't tell me. And then he hugged me tight. It was the best feeling in the world. We started dating, and I'd never been happier. Right after we graduated college, he proposed to me. I called Mom to tell her my good news, and then she told me that Lucia had left Peter and was moving back with her. You were right all along, Camilla. We didn't listen to you. Peter turned out to be the worst husband ever. He just left her with 2 kids for another woman. I felt really sad to hear that. Lucia and I had never gotten along, but I'd never wanted her to be unhappy. She was my sister. You tried to warn her, love. I guess she just had to learn her lesson the hard way. Maybe it's time you went back to America and visited your family. I'll come with you if you want. I think I'd really love that. Ella, come watch your parents' rehearsal. We need your notes. Mom, I'm watching TV. Don't be stupid, Ella. I'm so much better than anything you can see on TV. Hi, I'm Ella from Indiana, and I have the most embarrassing parents in the world. You don't believe me? See for yourself. But before that, please like and subscribe because MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Ever since I can remember, my parents were obsessed with the idea of being famous movie stars, and they'd turn every single thing into a production. Baby, are you ready for your first day of school?
Mom, why are you dressed like an octopus?
Oh, honey, we want to promote our new movie, Henry Potter and the Octopus Queen, at your school. All your friends and teachers will be so impressed. Impressed? Everyone was making fun of me as I made my way to my class with my parents looking like cartoons. And the movie they were talking about was the one they'd made themselves, just like all the others, and it was terrible. This was the reason why growing up, I'd never let any of my friends come over. Even on my birthdays, I'd beg my parents not to throw me any parties. But once in 8th grade, my friend Maddie invited me to her birthday party, and Mom and Dad dropped me at her place. But instead of driving away, they parked and got out too. Why are you guys getting out? We're here for the party, of course. No, please do not tell me you're going to perform. Only they did. They went onto the stage and started acting out their latest play. And then to my horror, a random kid pointed and yelled, "Hey Ella, aren't those your parents?" What? Of course not. I've never seen those people in my life. Yes, they are. Why don't you go up there and join the circus freaks? A bunch of kids pushed me onto the stage and started laughing. But my parents kept on with their act and didn't even care how they were embarrassing me. I stormed out of there in anger, and that day, I decided I'd had enough. You guys are just making fools of yourself by acting this way, and you're making me miserable. Ella, why can't you be supportive of our career? Don't you understand? You're never gonna get famous like this. If you really wanted to make it, you'd be in Hollywood, not this dumb town. I didn't expect my speech to make a difference since they never listened to me. But this time, they did. Ella, you've convinced us. You're brilliant. We're moving to LA. Are you serious? Heck, they were, and I couldn't believe it. This was actually a good thing. I was so happy we were finally leaving this place, and I could start a new life. When it was time to go to my new high school, my mom placed a uniform in front of me. What's this? You're going to a private school, but we can't afford it. This is a business investment, Ella. We found a school where all the famous people send their kids, and if you become friends with them, we'll become famous too. Connections are everything, darling. It's not my job to make you guys famous. Please don't interfere in my life here. What an ungrateful child. What will you say when we become more successful than you ever dreamt of? I did go to the private school, but thankfully they didn't make a scene when I got out of the car on my first day. I was barely through the door of my class when suddenly I was ambushed by some students. Hi, I'm Kira. What's your name? I'm Ella.
So, Ella, what do your parents do for a living?
Suddenly, all eyes were on me, like this was the last winning question of who wants to be a millionaire, and I freaked out. They're movie stars.
Wow, that's so cool. My mom's a director, and I'm sure they must have worked together. So, like, you're Ella Clooney, Ella Downey Jr., Ella Cruz? Tell me their names.
You haven't heard from them. They're from Spain. That's why we're here, actually, to expand in the American market.
That's awesome. Your American accent is so good. How do you speak such good English?
Jesus, who was she? Some investigating officer? I had to change the topic. My mom's American. My dad's the one from Spain. Hey, who's that?
That's my brother, Johnny. He's like the most wanted guy in school. If you want, I can introduce him to you.
He was her brother? He was so freaking hot. She called him and he came waving at me in the most adorable way. Hi, Johnny. What's your name?
Wow, that was brilliant. Genius.
Wow, you're pretty and funny.
Funny? You.
Johnny, her parents are famous movie stars from Spain. So much cooler than ours.
OMG, my lie was going places now. But what was I supposed to do? Someone was actually talking to me on my first day, and the only reason they showed interest in me is because she thought my parents were cool. That day, I had so much fun hanging with Kira and Johnny. I finally had friends. Later, when I went home, I felt kinda guilty about lying. So I decided that I was gonna tell them the truth. But the very next day at school, kids were going crazy around me. Apparently, Kira had told everyone how my parents were huge Spanish movie stars, and now everyone wanted to meet them. Holy Jesus! I ran to the washroom to get away from their questions for a while. Just then, I heard someone crying in one of the cubicles. Hi, are you okay in there? What happened? Suddenly, the door flew open, and a girl who looked like she had been crying a lot just pushed past me and ran away. That was when suddenly, Kira came and locked her arms with mine.
No thanks. Ella's got better friends, so why would she waste time with a nobody like you?
Saying that, she pulled me away with her. And even though I wanted to push her off and walk back towards May, I just couldn't. At this school, people like Kira ate people like me and May for breakfast. I just saved you from being friends with a loser. You're so lucky to have me. Hey, that's really mean.
You're welcome.
Later, she took me to her house, and there was a huge pool where Johnny was swimming like a mermaid. My jaw immediately dropped. But before I knew it, I was suddenly pushed into the pool. Kira, what was that?
Chill out, Ella. I was just having fun.
What if I didn't know how to swim?
Oh, right. That slipped my mind.
Hey, Ella, ignore my sister. She's a little crazy. But look at you. Wow, you look just as gorgeous in the water as you do in the sun.
God, my heart skipped a beat as he came closer. But just then, Kira jumped into the water and ruined the moment. You know what? I've got a